This should be played at high volume, preferably in a residential area.
It's the Dirty Laundry Game-Worn Hockey Podcast.
We're old school, right? We wash our own dirty laundry.
The name on the front is a hell of a lot more important than the one on the back.
I refuse to be judged by a grown man wearing a hockey jersey.
Game on! Game on!
We are back with another episode of the Dirty Laundry Game Worn Hockey Podcast, episode number 90, or Wade Hampton says the Ryan O'Reilly edition of Dirty Laundry. Wade joining me tonight. Paul is super busy, got some things going on, and then he's getting ready to, and we will have full coverage next week. He is getting ready to cover the San Jose equipment sale, which is on Saturday. So I am very excited to hear how the sale goes, and then seeing those pictures. But we will cover it in depth next week. That will be a fun one. How are we doing, Wade?
Always good. Everything's good. It's been busy around here, but good week, good playoff hockey.
Oh, God. Holy cow, that's good playoff hockey. I know some people are upset with their teams eliminated. Our team's on the brink. Yep. So we'll see what happens with St. Louis tomorrow if they get to play again Sunday. Love to see them make it to the second round, but as we talked before we started recording, we're just happy it's here, and it's been a great year to watch the hockey.
Yeah, I think as a hockey fan, for me, one of the things is like I'm a hockey fan, and I love the game. So when my team's in it, that's great. I've actually, I hate to say it, there's been the last couple of years when we missed the playoffs, it allowed me to like dig into some other teams a little bit.
Oh, yeah. It's always fun to pick a second favorite.
But, I mean, for sure. And, like there's so many – I've always been a fan of players too. So that's always been something I've always enjoyed. So, like, it's always good to see, like, players that you like doing well in other places and really digging in. So, fun playoff season. And we'll see tomorrow night if we get to keep enjoying Blues hockey.
Yeah, would definitely be nice. The drink of this evening, my – old-fashioned went to one of the classics, went to Bullet. I have talked about that one before. Bullet is always a nice go-to, makes a great old-fashioned. So cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
As always, Wade with the Dr. Pepper. There's
Waiting for the sponsorship.
Hey, we continue to try and harp on it. We hope somebody in marketing will take care of that. Yeah. Speaking of drinking, as always, reach out to Mitch for the Drink Your Face Off line of barware and clothing. He is constantly revamping and doing new things, and the styles of that look absolutely awesome. So reach out to Mitch if you're interested in any of that. Another big thank you, and I mentioned it last week, but the episode dropped on Wednesday. Hockey Style with Devin and Megan. It was a great time being on that show. I've already gotten a lot of good feedback. You listened to it. Of course, Mitch listened to it and several others. So excellent feedback. Had a great time with them. The podcast is really cool because of what they're doing. It's a little bit of different thing. I was on episode 3, so they're just getting rolling. So please go follow them on YouTube. Check them out.
I listened to it. Oh, go ahead.
It's a lot of fun. It's a very fun show, and they're doing a lot with what you're wearing to the games and other stuff too. So it's not a game worn focused podcast, but a great hockey podcast.
Yeah, it was. I listened to it and I enjoyed it. It's like you said, it's a different thing. It's kind of cool to see. As a dude, it's kind of cool to see a woman's perspective in it a little bit. Different take, different perspective. But yeah, that was good. And you did great on the episode you were on. I enjoyed it. So, it's always good to see people supporting, the hobby and collecting and, just being present for all this stuff.
And if you're a card collector, make sure you go listen to episode 2. They had a great card collector talking about some of that side of things too. Yeah. On to the auction side, Boston has, this runs through May the 8th. Their home set 2 jersey auction is going. Of course, you've already got some of the high ones there. Pasta at $25.50, Swayman at $1,000. Some other ones actually fairly reasonable so far. Of course, they are the Fanatics, so you guys will have to let us know if you get them what you think of those. Over to Migray. Migray's got a couple different things going on. They have the Minnesota Wild game used equipment auction. It ends May the 8th. There's sticks, there's gloves, helmets, a good mix of stuff. The 24-25 Nashville Predators team issued hoodies ends May the 15th. There's some goal pucks that end May the 15th as well. And then the New Jersey Devils round one goal and game puck auction runs through May 22nd.
Yeah.
Heritage has some different jerseys out there. They put some more out. We have touched on a few of them in years past, in episode past. Tells you what kind of day it's like. There's a cool Dartmouth jersey from 1974 in there. An Indiana Racers 76-77 jersey that's really sharp looking. There's one that's very interesting in this auction. It is marked as a 1980-1981 Wayne Gretzky authentic game jersey donated by team or charity. And I'll read the description of this. It's very interesting. It says, yes, the demand for ending Wayne Gretzky occurred even early in his career. This jersey mirrors what the great one wore in his early years with the Oilers. This jersey was donated by the Oilers for charitable purposes in 1980. The numbers are NOB. The numbers are NOB and are in two-color tack twill. Right shoulder has the Alberta 1905-1980 patch. Sandow Sportnet size 48 and washing instructions labeled are in the collar. Estimated value is $1,000.
That's
but
low.
it's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting that it is lettered by the Oilers in that. And I don't know what size Gretzky wore in those early years, if it was a 48, so it's the exact setup for him. But that's an interesting one to see. Their estimated value is only $1,000. It's bid at $675 right now. It ends in 16 days.
It's hard to find those early authentics, if that makes any sense.
Right, and the fact that everything was done by the team. It's not like somebody bought it and got it done. It was at least done through a charity thing, but
team issued kind of thing.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to follow what happens with that. There's some Potvins out here. There's a Grant Fuhrer Team Canada, I think I talked about before, a Stevie Y, a Guy Carbonneau, Rick Nash. What else have we got in here? Of course, that Stasny's still in there for you. And that's pretty much it out of the heritage stuff. And then NHL auctions really doesn't have much.
They just closed. They just closed the Oilers rounds 1, 2, and 3 playoff jerseys from last year. Those closed yesterday, actually.
What do you know? What the prices kind of were? I totally missed those.
I didn't. I was kind of watching. The only one I was watching was the Dylan Holloway because he's now a Blue.
Mm-hmm. Can't figure out why.
That went for like in the seven and change range. That was interesting. I wonder if those are, the prices on those, I'm sure were good. I should have tracked them. I didn't do it.
That's all right. I'll see if I can pull those up here. But part of the reason I mentioned them last, usually they're one of the first ones that I touch on, is when I go look for the game jerseys and that, and kind of see what's out there. There's usually piles of them. In this time, there's very few. Yeah. And the one that caught my attention, it's the number of times we've had a debate for, do you get a jersey signed? Do you not?
Yeah.
Even we talked about that even last week with your Jimmy Snuggerud jersey.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And you had him sign it on the fight strap. You sent me the pictures. It looks awesome. I like how you did it. But it is not anywhere visible that I would say detracts from the jersey. And again, this is a debate that can go in 47 directions. We eventually need to do a roundtable on this, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I rarely get them signed. The fight strap is the kind of old school, acceptable way to do it, if that makes any sense. That's what everybody will say is okay as far as in the hockey jersey community, which is always funny because baseball and football and basketball are way different. It's always been behind the crest or on the fight strap is what people typically, the old school collectors will say is acceptable for a signature.
Yeah.
So that's why I did it. I thought I didn't want to have him write on the numbers, and plus truthfully, the jersey was wet, and
true.
like I've seen some bad scenarios there.
Yeah, the fight strap, even if it's wet, the material's different enough that it's not going to be an issue.
Yeah, that was the safe play for it. So
yes, but the number of times I have seen, and this is you call it my hot take, my what grinds my gears, whatever you want to say. But it's let's sign the jersey with game used and some kind of inscription with it.
Yeah.
There is currently an Austin Matthews 21-22 season game worn jersey out there that it is signed on the top of the number 3. And you know what?
I'm looking at it.
I'll share it with the group too. But it's why have him, if you want him to inscribe it with something, have him inscribe it with something better.
Yeah.
That's stupid. I'm sorry.
That's somebody that's like not hobby savvy, and
it's freaking Fanatics that did it, for crying out loud. I mean,
problem, like, dude, if you've ever watched one of the Fanatics like videos, that if like will he sign it videos, which are probably one of the dumbest things and the dumbest content I've ever seen. If you follow them on social media, they do these stupid things where like they'll put a rival team hat in a pile of hats that they're having a guy sign, and it's like the stupid. I mean, Fanatics, you guys are idiots. Stop it.
But the jersey is a game worn jersey, and they have him sign that. And again, we rarely throw language on this show, but in this case, I'll use it because it's game used. Well, no shit. Yeah. It's documented for that. You don't need to have the players sign the back of the jersey saying that. You and I have seen that locally with
it's
with a place that does that, and it's stop.
Yeah, that's a very baseball and football and basketball, like not even basketball as much, but baseball and football thing. Baseball people do that all the time on baseball stuff. That's very, very common, and it just doesn't work in the hockey world.
No, I think it detracts from it. I mean, and Austin Matthews has a very nice signature.
Yeah, when he wants to sign it, sure.
When you're doing the slow signatures, we'll call it. I mean, it takes up the whole top of the 3 all the way across. That is very nice looking. If I was putting that in a frame as that, the bottom part detracts from it.
I agree. And,
or if after you sign it, if you want them to write on 2021 because that's season, I can even accept that.
Yeah.
You don't need the rest of it. It is frankly, it's just stupid. And I'd be curious others' opinions.
Really feel?
Be glad I've not had more to drink. And I'd probably.
Oh yeah.
It's just it detracts from it if you're getting a jersey signed. Think and if you want an inscription, think of something better than that, please.
I obviously have a few that I've gotten from people over the years that other people have had inscribed or written on and whatever. And I'm not going to talk about the jersey itself because I don't want to but there was a couple floating around the St. Louis community that people had, like one of my people I collect jerseys. I'm just going to try to keep this as broad as possible.
Right.
They had a bunch of shit all over the number. And honestly, I didn't acquire the jerseys because I thought they looked so damn stupid. And I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, but there is a segment of collectors that will not or are not interested or will consider a jersey worth less if you do that, right?
Or even it's one they want. They don't even want to go through the hassle of getting the autograph removed, so they won't purchase it.
No, and that's the case of one of those particular jerseys when I just passed on because I was like, the juice wasn't worth the squeeze, right? And that's one of those things that I think that when people are collecting or when they're in in the hobby or they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, if you're planning on keeping a dog cough, sorry, if you're planning on keeping if you're planning on keeping your stuff, um, and it's for you forever, which is going to come to another topic that I hate.
Yep,
Um,
we'll get into that next week. I can't wait.
if it's your grail, then so be it. Do it however the hell you want. But if you at some point know that that's going to become available for sale, realize that you are limiting your market with that stuff.
And it takes, especially depending on the material. Like one of the jerseys I'm looking at just out of frame right now is my Kessel St. Louis Blues Winter Classic jersey. Well, all those numbers are felt.
Yeah.
If you get signed on that you could tear that felt up trying to get it off compared to the tactile numbers.
I have a few felt ones that were early. Like the first time we wore the felt numbers was the 17 Winter Classic.
Mm-hmm.
And I had acquired a couple, and I think somebody had some of them signed, and I have one that's signed, and it looks like absolute, pardon my French, but it looks like absolute dog shit because it just like the pen's not going to stick to that. There's no pen that's going to stick to that felt.
And that was an even taller felt than what was used on this year's.
Yeah, I think Classics. It was. I also think that the reason that felt seemed so tall on those first ones was because they did wash them, and I think they got all messed up. But
that could be.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, you can't note to anybody. I mean, obviously with my autograph background, don't try to get stuff signed that's felt. Stop. It's not going to work.
But I happen to notice that, and again, the it's at several $1,000s already. But yeah. Think about again, if you want an inscription, find something better than that. If you are and if you want to get your thing autographed, you do you, and just know later it may cause you issues. It may not if somebody wants the jersey that bad and they can go deal with removing the autographs or whatever. But putting game used, no, just stop the insanity.
I could go with the one that you said a minute ago. I was actually something I've never thought of. But I mean, if just putting the year is good.
Yeah, and that at least for the jersey one, if you've got a lot of jerseys and you throw that up on the wall or wherever and you don't remember what year it is, that helps with that for one.
That's probably the safest way. And like, I mean, I still don't like it because I don't want anybody to do that to them. But if you were just trying to, I mean, obviously it would be clear that it's a game worn jersey. And if you put the year on it underneath the signature, great.
Yeah, it just when it's blatantly obvious, or you're the collector that's buying it, hanging it up, it's game used. You don't need it on there, and I wish more places would get that. I've seen it done on gloves. I've seen it done on skates. No shit. The game used.
We get it. It's game worn.
It's just come on. And I know some people are like, really? This is what's driving you nuts? And it's funny because as I was researching stuff for the show, there's not really been a ton that's gone on this week in the hobby to really cover. And I stopped on that. I'm like, wait, they did. Let me go zoom in. I'm like, sure as hell did. And then that just lit a spark. I'm like, really? That just come on.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a preference, and but it's a not necessary thing. I mean, at the end of the day, I guess it's do what you want with your stuff, but it's definitely a take in from other sports habits, and I mean, these aren't baseball jerseys and they're not football jerseys.
No, and if you as listeners out there hear us ripping on this, if there's something other than this that grinds your gears, shoot us a message or put it in the comments or whatever, because I'd love to mention some of those other things too, of things like that you see that just drives you up the wall. And it may be that it only drives you nuts and nobody else even thinks about it, but throw that out there. I'd love to kind of go through a list next week too.
I was gonna say, I think that might be our show topic next week is it's the what grinds your gears episode 91. Like let's do that, because I have one that I am.
Yep. Do you want to tease it, or do you want to just leave it for next week and let everybody be surprised?
Yeah, I'm going to say it. I'll lead in and we'll talk about it next week. But my grind your gear thing that I absolutely hate is the Grail. the Grail. I absolutely hate people's posts or their comments or the sentiment of something being their Grail, especially when it's, I'm going to say this and it's going to sound really bad, when it's not that special. Or even if it is special, but it's something that's very common, right? Like at the end of the day, there's better ways to initiate how important a jersey is to you than to throw that thing around, right? And that's where I'm going to leave it till next week. But I am extremely passionate about this, just like you are about the inscription. But I will say this right now, and people, if you have a comment about it, hit us up on it. Give us your take. But if you are a person saying the word Grail in more than one post, more than regular, please stop it because I don't like it. And
Now everybody's going to start tagging you, and anybody that posts that does that, that's going to happen.
Yeah, no, I know, but that's the one that I guess as of recently I've seen the word. I see it's posted so much.
And we'll get into specifically why that drives you nuts in that next week. So we're just going to tease it for now, but we'll have that to cover. We'll throw us your what grinds your gears in the collecting community.
Yeah, let's talk about
and we will mention a bunch of those. Like I said, also Paul Rank is going on Saturday to the San Jose Sharks equipment sale. I'm really excited to hear what was there, how it went, all the details, because I know I think Paul mentioned in the last episode, or one of the last ones, that they're doing ticketing for jerseys.
Yeah.
So that will be interesting to kind of see how that process actually works in reality on Saturday. So Absolutely. We will have lots to talk about next Thursday. It will be definitely a fully packed show because a whole lot of teams will be into the next round, or actually less teams will be in the next round of the playoffs. So that will be fun to mention as well. Yeah. And as of right now, as I just checked the scoreboard while doing this, the Maple Leafs knocked out the Senators and have moved on.
Yes. Yeah. Right now, the Stars game getting ready to start.
Yep. And the Golden Knights, as we're watching this, because again, it'll be settled by the time you listen to this tomorrow, but they are 11:30 left in the third, and the Knights are up 2-1 and can knock out the Minnesota Wild. I actually would like to see Minnesota go to the second round, but hey, that's the playoffs.
Yep, absolutely.
Any final thoughts for you before we get out of here?
I think the only thing I had that we kind of didn't talk about was the classic auctions did close.
Yes. Hopefully everybody got what they wanted and everybody was happy.
Couple highlights. There was a Mark Messier 87-88 going for like 120 grand. I thought that was impressive. The one that kind of surprised me was 17-18 Ovechkin went for a touch under 20 grand. And just with all the fire and everything about his breaking Gretzky's, I expected that to be a little higher. One that I was impressed with the sale was the Brodeur 14-15 Blues jersey for 17-3.
Wow.
Yeah. Another one that I was impressed with was Jonathan Toews 14-15 gamer for 17-3. I think that's a big number for a modern jersey.
And it's maybe because there are so few of them out there with the Hawks have just hoarded so much of that. And with supposed talk that he may be back next season, maybe that's driven a little bit of that too.
The thing that's funny to me about that, and the reason I wanted to talk about those modern jerseys, is the funny thing is like right behind that there's a Boom Boom Gefferon 62-63, which has got to be an impossible jersey if you're a Canadian, and that was a touch under 14 grand at 13.7. So when you think about how hard a 60s jersey is, and then a Hall of Fame player for under 14 grand, but people are buying modern ones for, thousands more. I thought that was interesting. Those are some of the highlight jerseys I saw for our end of it. I thought those were interesting. On the card side, the thing I thought that was pretty interesting was the 15-16, the Cup factory steel box. And it's only 6 boxes sold for almost 25 grand. 6 boxes of cards. Yeah, I believe that's Connor McDavid's. I think there's some Connor McDavid stuff in there, which I think was the big drive on that. It's McDavid's rookie card era stuff. So, but still, I thought that was pretty crazy for 6 boxes of hockey cards, 25 grand. So
yeah, for sure.
Congratulations to to the winners in classic, and another really primarily hockey driven auction, which for our hobby is great. They do a great job up there. So congrats to Mark and all his people and anybody that won anything.
Yeah, for sure. Hope everybody gets them, and we'll start seeing pictures soon as they get those.
Yep.
We'll keep reporting the auctions as they get posted, and keep everybody up to date on those. Like I said, continue to like, subscribe, follow, make comments on the show. If you'd like to come on, if you have suggestions, reach out to one of us. We will gladly make that happen. And again, also go out and like and follow Hockey Style with Devin and Megan. Again, thank you so much for them letting me come on and talk about the hobby and explain how that works. And if somebody wanted to get into it, we covered a lot in an hour. So support all of these other hockey podcasts like us, Migray, and them, because we are one big happy family, and it's fun to I definitely want to do some more cross things between both of them. But we will see you next week, and we will have one full show next week for sure. But like I said, if you have questions or want to come on or have topic suggestions, please reach out to one of us, and we will definitely add it in the show. Till then, we'll see you next week.